Hello. Welcome to stream. Yo, Kaiju. Thank you, man. Hello, button. Hello, ripping. Revenant. I don't need the answer, but thank you. Da, da, da. How you guys doing, everyone? How's your Saturday? I'm in a very good mood today. Not sure why. You would have 100% uptime without Zek. Probably, actually. I could try later. Realistically, I would like to go Shroud instead of Jack Shell. And not drop the Zek. Because the only thing like I could get from dropping the Zek would be like Ohm or so. 15%. Shroud is definitely better than that. Plus more defense. So I think that's really what I should do. Yeah, I didn't realize that the Wishnak Fire gives me the cooldown reset. Oh. And then not having the lifetime on Jackasha will also be nice. Hi noobs. What level are you, by the way, this season? Hello, Ricky. Hi, Desoy. You will create a Sorc today and notice a difference. I have a pretty decked out Sorc, I guess, without having created it. Yeah, I'll make a Sorc soonish. Is it possible to play this effectively on PS5 without being able to hold evade? I'm not sure how controller people do it, but I know some people do it. Wee. Hello. And they're gonna tell us more about the Diablo future. Well, I can just tell you, I'm in a very good mood. Okay? That's what I can tell you. There'll be so many Tomb Lords, exactly. They're gonna replace every monster with Tomb Lord. And then finally the game is fixed. I just got a deal, that's why I'm in a really good mood. No. Dude, I actually one-tapped the other Lord. Okay. I want a game like this, but in the 40k universe. Funny. Sure, the Guardians are coming. Do a poll with 10 possible reasons why I'm in a good mood, and only one of those 10 is the correct answer. Well, I mean, if you have been looking around a little bit in the last, let's say, 15, 18 hours or so, to see what people are doing in the Diablo sphere, then you might understand why I'm in a good mood. Other counters back, W. Yeah, sometimes it works. I wouldn't call it back. But apparently on Tuesday they're gonna patch it. Copium. Surely this time. Evade build guide on Maxroll. Shakudin. How many hours does it take to get to 300? With the most efficient strats and builds, it can be done in like 80 hours. Maybe like 100 hours, if you're talking about like you also have to gear up a bit and these kind of things. Okay, James, I understand. So the reason why I'm in a good mood is because the devs have shown us the future. And that puts me in a very good mood. I don't have a... Fuck. I'm at 0 hearts. I can't do the last one. Okay, I have to get one more. It's actually gonna be the last health out of the season, I think, for me. I don't think I'm gonna go back. I don't have any more hearts. Okay, let's see, is that chest? I think the way they changed the max level from 100 to 300 was a mistake. I mean, I did enjoy the previous kind of like, you know, character-based system, where now it's like an account-based system, right? I don't really mind either way, though, I have to say. I think both are viable solutions. Like now it's like a lot more like alt friendly, twink friendly and so on. Where previously I had like this kind of like journey with one character and then the next and then the next. And maybe I slightly prefer that because I play a lot. But I mean, I think both ways are fine, you know. At the very least, the way it is now, you can like make other builds and it can have very quickly progress into like Torment 4 and actually, you know, farm stuff effectively and so on. Where previously you would have like, you know, you make an alt and then there's like a whole like journey of not really getting anywhere until you're max level and stuff, right? And here I make a fresh character and in a few hours I can kind of keep lasting and keep progressing where I left off basically with my previous character. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. Dude, I'm gonna TP out to turn in my Grim Favors. And then the 2 hearts that I put will be despawned because it's gonna put me into another instance, 100%. Watch out. What do I need to know? Press the basic skill. I need 59% evade cooldown. No obsidian. That's not barrier topics so often, that's a bit weird. 1 baneful heart, okay. Like something is like removing a barrier, I'm not sure what. I should have 100%, but it just goes down here. Is that bottle wind just like doing some weird stuff? Maybe it's just that. Actually, that seems to be right. Ah wait, I didn't open the last chest, so I guess you can do this first. Wait! What? They despawn anyway? That's insane. I'm still in the same instance. We just despawned. What the hell? Ah, I think the reason why I have this weird barrier stuff going on is because of Resilient. Alright, let's see. Dude, that's actually insane. The hearts just despawn. It's good to know, but I just went to go get the last heart. Now it's gone. I guess I'll forever have one heart.
They're all genuine. I don't trifle with fate.
It's like Blizzard, yeah. It's kind of weird, like why would it reset? I feel like this is like strange. Tell us about the future, Woody Damus. I can't tell you about the future. But if you have been listening to the feedback I give over the last 1.5 years or so, I can tell you, seems like they noticed. Yeah, I did make like my own evade planner or something. So I mostly just took the Maxroll guide. I need to check something in the target dummy room. I'm gonna bot this season. No plans. Okay, let's see how my cooldown is, yeah. It's kinda close. But not enough. If I had a GA cooldown Shaco, I think it would be enough. The cooldowns, if I look at the Seeker right now. Or like a cooldown on the neck or something. It might also be enough, but you have pretty decent focus cooldown here. Kind of low roll focus cooldown here, but you have it once masterworked. Do you like the new expansion class? Actually, I don't know about that one. But I'm not too worried about whatever class they may or may not introduce. You know, either way, I think I'm gonna have fun with it. So that's okay. Okay. I think I have a lot of caches. I can probably boost my Sorcs soon. Also, how's this looking here? 83, 82. I think it's gonna farm 72 now or something. Get the glyphs higher like this. The one was made pretty well. I think so too. But it took way too long to actually, like, you know, fix the, you know, bugs and so on. And we still have leftover bugs on season 6 actually at this point that have not been like addressed properly and stuff. So as long as they don't repeat that again, it's fine. Will the meteor buffs coming next week be impactful? I mean, meteor is already an okay build. I think it's actually the second or the third best. And it's getting a bit better, so sounds nice. It's not really a major buff or something, and I'm not sure if like this really applies to all of the damage sources in the build, because like there's also meteorites and there's also burn damage, but I think it should scale basically most of the damage properly. Whatever they do with the buff. So it should be fine. Should we be excited for the future of Diablo? Yes. They're gonna add a lot of shit that people are waiting for. And fix a lot of other shit that people are waiting for. Mobalytics or the 4 builds? That is a weird question. Yes. I mean, we're going to delete NE and PoE2 of our library. I don't know. I'll still plan to play all of these games. But I could imagine a lot more people will play Diablo 4 a lot more in the future than they might be thinking now. Including myself. Although I do play a lot already. What gaming schedule do I have in July? July is half over, so I guess we are having that schedule, and the answer is D4 all day, every day. Although later in July I will be away for a few days. And then maybe when I come back, I'll probably play Last Epoch and PoE2. We also have probably 1 or 2 days of Torchlight next week. Exclamation mark Torchlight is starting a new season. That's the end of August. No, I will play before the league. I'm just gonna log in the end PoE. Have you tried just playing the game even without a season start? Also fun. What? Wait, what was that? He just exploded from 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. 70%. Guys, you're not gonna coax any details on the devs from me. I can just tell you, I'm in a good mood.
I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need? Not a bad. Hello, shiny.
Hi, Chuck. A lot of attack speed rings here.
Better than starting from nothing.
I told us about stuff that's coming in season and in expansion. And it's actually quite a lot in both.
It is done.
When did I chat with the devs? Well, it happens relatively frequently. But this one in particular was last night. Evade Spiritborn. Queenie. I do not have an exact timeline. In general, even if you try to, gather any details from people about, all the specifics, you won't really get that. In addition to people not being allowed to say really anything about it. You gonna play Hider this season? Yes. I have it pretty much ready already. I'll make it soon. But for now I'm gonna enjoy the evade a little bit more. Very nice chill farming. You're allowed to mention that it happened. Yeah, they told us you can say that you've seen something, basically. So that's what I'm saying. But I think the overall reactions were very positive from like anyone. So there were a lot of people there. And last time I checked, there's a big convention sometime in August. So maybe you're gonna hear something there. Did I try Penshot Rogue? Yeah, I played a lot of Penshot. Really good builds. Need more space dice to put me in a good mood. Some splash plays would be very nice for sure. What's my favorite D4 class? It's kind of hard choice right now between Rogue and Spiritborn for me. Rogue has become very fun again this season. It was like so like Shadow Clone based the last few seasons and stuff, outside of Death Trap, that I didn't really enjoy Rogue lately. But this season has been very cool in Rogue, so I guess it's Rogue again. But I genuinely like both the classes a lot. And to be honest, I like almost all the classes a lot. I like at least some builds on them. Yeah. Besides Necro, maybe. Necro is probably noticeably my least favorite. But the only other classes I have some pretty cool stuff, I think. Share and leveling builds. We have plenty of those. I'm not sure what you are playing, but you should... Here's this link. Nice link. Check that maybe. Also, the burn not being able to say anything. I'm okay with that. I know many secrets and how to keep them. I didn't tell Nini. Oh, I guess this is how I chunked the boss the other time with a blaster shot and I didn't notice I had one. I think even Max might be in a positive mood with the news.
What's my hammer sings on your return? Use it well.
We wait a bit to prepare regular deck over the unique from Maxroll. Yeah, what I'm playing right now is like basically the pit push version. Or very close to that at least. And that does a lot more damage. But the neck is like really good to get started. The Sunbird. And like, you know, easy peasy to blast through everything in T4 and stuff as well. It's just like you equip that thing and you have like giga stats on it and it just works. And it's kinda nice. Let's see what happened. 1 minute 30, did 79 on Sorc, is that decent solo? Yeah, that's really good. I'm not 100% sure like what is like the maximum potential on like Sorc, but Sorc is like basically one of the best or maybe the best speedfarming build at this point. I mean, it's kind of close to evade, I guess. If my character was a bit more optimized, I would probably get there as well. 1.5 minutes, I'm doing like 1.5 minutes, like 74, 75. So we're not that far off from that. And I'm still lacking some damage. Yeah, Sorc goes fast for sure. That's pretty powerful. Highest pit level I can go to. On this character, like around 100 or so would be possible. But I have no plans to push evade. Like, not a very enjoyable push build. So, you know, it's like really nice for farming and stuff, but pushing is just kind of feels weird. I don't want to do that. Yo, any boosters in chat? If you don't find anyone, you can always ask Panda. He's a boosting enthusiast. The highest pit I can push or evade until I see some problems. Yeah, as I said, like around 100 or so. I'm not sure exactly what people have pushed with evade. And my character is not fully min-maxed. But I think like around 100 should be what I can do. If I try. I mean, I guess I can open 100 and just see what happens. For like a minute or two. But the boss damage is relatively good on this build. So I don't need like a ridiculous amount of time for the boss, I think. Although for pushing, you eventually always need a lot of time for the boss. Rip 3 incoming. Nah, this is the tankiest build I've played the entire season. Like, this build doesn't die. It's ridiculously tanky. How far could Heartseeker go? Like mid 90. Shred is good, yeah. I read Board last night, he was doing 105 on Shred. Looks like he was going to get a successful run. I'm not sure if he has done it now. I don't have my own guide for this build. But I'll probably make a video about it soon. I have a bunch of other builds I also want to cover still. That was a nice one.
Greetings. What's left, you ask?
I need space.
Not a bad hello, Battery's ghost. All finished, are you? Better than starting from nothing.
It's weird buffing Pulse. Yeah, that is weird. I'm not sure where that came from. I think I should bug fix the weapon and not buff Pulse. On the other hand, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how the early game of Pulse is, you know, before the weapon. It's not a terrible idea to take some power out of the weapon and put it maybe just into the base kit a bit more. Because the weapon is a ridiculous buff to the build. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe you want to smooth out the curve a little bit, you know? You buff the skill, you nerf the weapon. Maybe like in Season 10 they're gonna nerf the weapon a little bit or something. So I could imagine that. But it's still kind of weird that they're buffing Pulse now for like no reason. But okay. Yeah, opening 100 for the lulz. I mean, I didn't like optimize anything for pushing now. My glyphs are not fully leveled. I have the wrong chest equipped. Missing a bunch of other, like, you know, just better gear and so on. But let's see. So I got the execute, I guess. I killed one I need already. So you see, I am killing stuff here. Let's say if this was a 95, I'll pretty easily get ahead on time, I think. And then more min-max, you'll probably get there. You need to code Lightning Storm to OP and then do something with tornadoes. I mean, they can probably just like buff the skills. Yeah, I don't want everything to be overpower. Ask Panda for boost. He dabei healer. He's doing that pretty often, I know. I don't really boost people. I could, but you know. We just started the season. Hello Slydock. This is the pit. Which is a bit similar to Great Efforts in Diablo 3. This is where you farm your glyph levels and XP. And also a good amount of legendaries. Oh, did Panda go offline? Because I was watching him earlier. He was there. I mean, otherwise I can always ask in trade chat. There's people boosting you for gold for sure. That just got off, okay. He died to Uberbots getting one shot. Uh-oh. Which one? I need to make a ring mule or something. I gotta make a mule. Belial. Oh, he just went in on Belial and they've never seen it? Oh boy. I mean, Belial is a pretty easy fight, but you need to know what he does. Yeah. What Barb am I going? I've played Lunging Strike a lot already in the last few days. And right now my Barb is kind of like on vacation. I have a lot of boss mods, man. What the fuck? Guess we're gonna do those at some point. Yeah. gonna go Bash. Yeah, Bash is also relatively good, I think. Man, look at that, so much space suddenly. Did I pre-order Borderlands 4? No. I played Borderlands 1 a little bit, a long time ago. But that's the only thing I know about this series. Besides the fact that they're trying to sell Borderlands 4 for 80 bucks apparently. That's the only other thing I know about Borderlands. I got Borderlands 3 for $2.99. Nice. Super fun game, okay. I lowered it to 70. That sounds like a good move. I know there was like a lot of outrage about it. And I mean, there's like obviously one argument to be made, which is that, you know, games already cost that amount of money like a long time ago, and we have inflation and all that, right? On the other hand, it's also, I guess, like people just like have a lot more games and buy a lot more games, so they don't want to pay that amount or a higher or equivalent amount with inflation necessarily all the time, right? I guess people are probably like enjoying just like these kind of like mid-tier games a bit more. The gaming market is much bigger, but this also means there's more studios, more competition. You know, you need to pay devs more, you need to try harder, you need to market more. And obviously it all drives up the cost. And I can kind of understand why they're trying to raise prices and stuff. But I don't think that people are really willing to pay them, right? When inflation happens, they're always ready to adjust prices, but when companies paralyzes, they never lower it. But I mean, usually you don't have the opposite of inflation. You know, prices just always go up. And income, usually as well. This is how inflation happens. But, yeah, obviously this is also a bit dependent on the country, and, you know, also it can even be dependent on the individual, right? So, but the general direction is, you know, there is inflation. Doesn't go up for a period. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it goes up, and then this is like the new standard, right? And then it goes up again, and then this is the new standard, and it goes up again, and so on. Economy power creep. you can you can kind of compare it to power creep, yes. Things that there's no one ever nerfing it, you know? It always goes up. Borderlands 4 Deluxe Edition is $129. Damn. Daily Woody economy lessons. You don't need my economy lessons to understand how this works, right? Inflation is just a thing. I mean, even when you don't have like intentional inflation or something from like a, you know, government or a central bank or something, you know, just look at, you can kind of compare just like the economy you have in Diablo 4 or in PoE, and like PoE is probably a better example, but for those that are not familiar, like Diablo 4 will also give you a bit of an idea. You know, prices just go up. People have more, people spend more. You know, gold is being generated, and then for some, like, for the same gold you could buy something like the previous day, you can't buy it the next day. You need to pay that and more. That's just how it is. I'm comparing international economy to the force. Yeah, it's just like the same principles kind of apply. But as I said, like PoE is a much better example of like a real market economy. Diablo 4's economy is like, you know, very skewed, very small and narrow, and also, you know, it has like other like unrealistic stuff going on, like the whole like, you know, duping and so on, right? But the general principle is still the same. Need to dupe bug IRL, man. That would be kind of OP. Just stupid. Maybe we can ask our Chinese friends. Shit, I think this thing is broken. Uh-oh. Guys, I think the glasses are broken. This is not this is not holding anymore. Sorry. Do you have a mod for refund? Yeah, I absolutely agree, Gigdimus. I'm gonna dance like Dioxide. No. I don't have the cool raid moves. Would dupe food provide the same nutritional value as the original? Well, there was this tinfoil head theory that duped Belial mods don't drop mythics. So maybe duped food doesn't have vitamins or something. I guess the bigger problem with like the prices going up for games is that, you know, games are like always like hit and miss, right? Like there's so many games that come out and then people just don't like them. And there's like a million alternatives that are most likely better. And people just need to go and find the game that suits them, right? And so you don't want to like drop 80 bucks on a game and then potentially, you know, play it for very little time. And you never know, like, you know, how ready is it? Like, how buggy is it? Like, is it just good marketing or is it actually a good game? What are the developers gonna do? Are they gonna patch? Or I don't know, right? Is it gonna go in the right direction? Even if it's not like a live service game like Diablo or something. You know, usually a game comes out and then, you know, there's still like fixes and patches and updates and whatever for a while. For the bigger games at least, I guess. And you know, there's like so much trash, even if it's like by a big company. So I can kind of understand people are reserved to like drop a lot of money on the game. Unless they know they will enjoy it. Bring back shareware. We're in the digital age of games. If you don't like it, it turns in lots of time. Yeah, okay, Steam has like this 2-hour refund policy, right? So that's a kind of like nice way to do it. And I guess a lot of people are using that, and this is also probably like a big reason why Steam is so big and, you know, why people keep trying out new games, right? It's like, okay, it kind of just like adds a lot more like kind of like motion in the market, right? When people just like buy games, try them, drop them, or keep them. Where otherwise people would maybe just like hesitate a lot more to get the new game. The economy has duping, just print more money. Well, I mean, that is a somewhat working solution, but only for a time. In like in an emergency. Usually it's a really bad idea to just print more money. I need to pay 80 bucks to rent a game for how long they want to support it, and then when it's actually completed game of the year or two, it's like 10 bucks. Yeah, I guess it's just like how the market works, right? People buy it at full price when it comes out because it's new and fresh and hype and many people are doing it. And you know, the thing is that, yeah, objectively, you're gonna get a better product for less money like a year or two later. And you know, the quality of, you know, game development is not going up fast enough to really, you know, make it bad to wait a year or two, right? Like the games are not qualitatively like that much higher now than they were 2 years ago or something like that, you know, like overall. So it's just that it's kind of like a social thing as well, right? It's like, okay, now is the time to buy that game and play that game, and you know, everyone is doing that, and you know, it's like a social thing, I guess. And this is why the price is higher, and like, because you wanna participate and enjoy it, the ride together with everyone else and these kind of things. But yeah, I mean, there's like, you know, a million games on Steam you can buy for like 5 or 10 or 20 bucks or something that are insanely good, I guess. But they're like, you know, old. And this just makes it lose value just by itself, basically. Because there's not really interest, talk, community, whatever, right? Can basically insta-kill the 4 bosses at this build. He recently bought Monster Hunter Wilds and Kingdom Come Deliverance and asked me how many hours I have there. About 2 hours. Lol, wasted money. Yeah, and sometimes you make these buys and you get credit. I remember the game I would most regret buying ever is StarCraft 2. Because I was like, I don't know what, 14 or something when it came out. And I was such a big Warcraft 3 fan. I was like, Pork, I'm gonna get that game now. I hadn't played StarCraft 1. And you know, like the whatever, like $50 it cost or something was a lot of money for me back then. And I bought it, and I installed it, and I played it for like a few games or so, and I just didn't warm up with it at all. And I uninstalled it and played Warcraft 3 again. And then it was just sitting there. So that is my biggest gaming regret. Yeah, I know a lot of people like StarCraft 2, but for me, like, it was just like, it was not really what I was looking for, I guess. I just had such a good time in Warcraft and Age of Empires and, you know, some other strategy games. And StarCraft wasn't really it. But I do like the universe and the story and so on. I actually watched the entire story at some point. Are you prepared to go all the way with this? Mirror? Age of Empires 2 is still really popular. Yeah, I mean, Age of Empires 2 is just a fucking classic, right? Like, Age of Empires 2 is just always gonna be a thing. It's just... dude, I just got 3 little ups, what the fuck? Yo, we got a redirected force. You see an armory? Yeah, that was interesting a few seasons ago. Necrox. I have the tenants, yes. They give you a mount when you collect them all. Yo, upgrade, man. Other hordes. Unfortunately, this class can't shot of Earthil, I guess. Kerrigan and Sylvanas had such similar origin stories. Yeah, kinda true, I guess. Actually, I never made a connection, but you're right. Waiting for really great hideout Sorc and complete 120 on hardcore. Yeah, I might do 120 with the Spiritborn, but not with the Hydra. That is a bit out of reach, I think. The Baron class hammer out their issues with the recent changes. Yeah, I mean, the buffing Hoda and upheaval and a bunch of other stuff a little bit. But nothing of that is really gonna produce like a new meta or a new top build on a Barb or so. It just helps a little bit the weaker builds. Target is such a big brand, I feel Blizzard forgot about it. Yeah, the thing is, I guess it's gonna be very hard to make a successor to a game like that. And the question is, would they rather make a Warcraft or a StarCraft game, right? And you can say, okay, they have World of Warcraft and that's going pretty well and all that, right? So that the Warcraft brand is there and alive, but StarCraft has nothing besides StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. So you could probably make a StarCraft 3, but then again, would StarCraft be as big as like a Warcraft 4? I think a Warcraft 4 would potentially be a lot bigger just from the universe and the name and, you know, the entire history that they have built with World of Warcraft. And you could also like drive the story forward and all that stuff. Like imagine after this, like, you know, the current, what's it called? World Soul trilogy with what they have going right now with WoW. They could maybe do like a bit of like a soft reset on the story by releasing a Warcraft 4 or something. And then you can keep building the story from there or something. But yeah, I mean, RTS in general doesn't seem to be going well these days. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Imagine like Warcraft 4 comes out and it has the world editor again and the custom games and all that kind of stuff, man. Like you could do crazy stuff these days, I guess. I have seen what the others have seen, I suppose. You complete a pit 100 with Nick 2's Hydra build, and that's me, a regular player, lol. Yeah, okay, but I mean, just because I'm gonna play Hydra doesn't mean I can do 120. You know, no one has done 120. Not even the ultra try-hard softcore trade blasters have done 120 on Hydra, and they're even far away from that as far as I know. Last time I checked it was like 115 on Hydra, maybe? And you know, at this point in the season, like the pit clears are basically maxed out. Outside of maybe fishing for like another tier if you're going to Giga try hard, or you know, maybe you're gonna find some new bugs at some point or something. But that's really the only change we're gonna see, you know? Like all the clears we have these days, they are like locked in. Basically, this is it. You know, we're over 2 weeks into the season. There's not gonna be a random like 120 popping up when the highest clear so far is 115. You know, that's just not how it works. Like the pit is like way too, you know, way too much a numbers check to really just kind of keep pushing up. Like in Diablo 3, yeah, you can push for an entire month and slowly grind up a tier and another tier and another tier. But in D4, this is not happening. The thousands of us here are actually very good at keeping secrets, so you can tell us what's coming. Well, if you have been watching my feedback videos over the last like 1.5 years, maybe there's some good stuff related to that. Hello, cute guys only. Thank you so much. You're excited for runes, but it ended up just eyed. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it always depends on like the details, right? And honestly, I don't think that runes is a bad system. I think runes is a pretty decent system the way it works. Like, there's people that are disappointed you can't make rune words D2 style and so on, but I mean, runes D2 style are basically just uniques with extra steps, you know? There's not really much of a difference between making a unique item and making a rune word. Or equipping a rune word, basically. So it was just like this, kind of like you collect it piece by piece. instead of you get a drop and that's it, right? But there was something charming about rooms as well. It's just kind of like a cool system, right? It's just like, it was also a trade currency, you know, like no one cared about gold really. People traded runes, so they had value. But the thing is, in this game, in D4, nothing has value because of, you know, duping and stuff, you know, so there is nothing that has value. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the economy would look like when duping is fixed, but realistically, I guess it's going to look like kind of like the hardcore economy where you still mostly trade gold and occasionally other stuff and barter a bit. Because gold actually has a lot of value in Diablo 4 compared to like D2, where gold was relatively whatever. You can do duping. Welcome to Diablo 4, Kyugazoni. How? Asking for a friend. Hey, Panda. How much time have you been playing Diablo games? Yeah, it's like around 10k hours in D3 and roughly half of that in D4, I guess. And then D2, I don't know exactly. Maybe 1.5.
It is done. How do you rob a bank? Just curious. I don't know, actually. I think it's a lot more complicated than people think. Duba's not permanent already. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very cheap to make fresh accounts to keep duping. So even if they ban like the accounts all the time, you know, you just make new ones, or you use like the you know, Xbox Game Pass stuff and whatever. Do people have 4GA purples? Yes. Although, I mean, that's like the one thing you can't, you know, guarantee, let's say, because mythics are always account bound. So you have to just like like craft a large number of them. And for that you have to get sparks, which are also account bound from any source. So yeah, when it comes to like duping and like, you know, RNTing and all that stuff, like free 4GA mythics is actually something you can't guarantee. But everything else you can guarantee, right? You can just buy 3GA items in every slot for legendaries, you can buy 4GA items in every slot for uniques. And there you go. And for the mythics, yeah, I mean, there's like various ways to kind of print them. So for example, you know, Ascendance Rotas, the tribute in Honor City. I'm not sure if people are duping these tributes, but I imagine it's possible to dupe the tributes because they're stackable just like mats. I'm pretty sure you can probably do the same thing there. And that actually makes me wonder, why do I never hear anything about anyone trying that? But yeah, I guess some people definitely doing that, and they're just kind of like printing mythic after mythic after mythic, like every 3 minutes you get a mythic, basically on average. If you have infinite Ascendance tributes, you will get like a mythic every 3 minutes or so. So 20 mythics an hour. Yeah, you'll start getting 2, 3, and even 4 GAs at some point if you do this for enough hours. Dude, I got 3 gem ups. Yeah, you can't trade them. So you have to like dupe them and then use them. Or you dupe them and then open them from the other account for your main account. So if you want to be safe because of bans and whatever, then this is the strat, right? You just have like a throwaway account that dupes the tributes and you just run for free with your main. So this is what I would do. And then you just get infinite mythics basically. But it takes a while to grind them out a bit. There's such a thing as the best weapon in the game. Well, but I mean, weapons are very bland in this game. You know, there's life, there's main stat, and then there's a tiny bit of flavor of a third damage stat on it, and that's a weapon for every single build. And yeah, I mean, if you have 3 GAs of that, then you have the best weapon, I guess. Shouldn't I have patched duping by now? They should have, but they didn't. Well, they did, but, you know, they patched like 9 methods, but not the 10th one or something. So, at some point, I guess. The point of duping, not RNT. Can't trade sparks and mythics, they maybe just don't deem it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, for some people there's obviously the... Yeah. I guess most of the dupes probably come from, you know, people that actually sell these items for real money or sell gold for real money to, like, actually earn money, right? But there's also, like, obviously people that just try hard the fuck out of the game. And in order to do that the try hardest way possible, you would have to, you know, get the duped Ascendance tributes. And you probably have to make them yourself because there's no one selling them to you. So, yeah, in that case, if you want to go all the way with the try-harding, then you have to do that. And then there's no like a monetary value or something. This is just to try hard the fuck out of the game for the sake of try-harding. But yeah, a lot of the duping has to do with RNT to, like, you know, actually earn money. And like, people just earn money with this game. Well, I'm earning money with this game, but in a much more convenient way, let's say. So that's nice. But yeah, I guess other people try it other ways. Well, spot and turbo exists 44. Yeah, of that I have no doubt that people have been working on that. I mean, obviously the market is gigantic for any kind. I mean, you see this with RMT, you know. And obviously there's also a gigantic market to, like, monetize tools, hacks, you know, any kind of, like, unfair advantages and stuff. The real question is, was Rex there? Did he seem excited? That's thematic for anything. Yeah, I'm relatively confident that even Rex is excited. But I guess you just have to go ask him. Generally, it seemed like very positive vibes and lots of excitement from all sides. Actually, wait, see the audio you have. Exactly enough. Actually, I have a tiny bit more. I have like 60.5. And you need 59. What Season 10 PTR has? I don't know. There's no announcements about the Season 10 PTR. How easy is it to get back into Diablo 4? Well, I know nothing about you when you last played, how quick you learn, how willing you are to learn, but I would say relatively easy in general. Especially if you read our Maxroll guides. Is vulnerable any good this season or not at all? There is no build in this game that does not have vulnerable. Opportunity R. Honestly, I think it's a bit much. I think I should maybe add some sort of cooldown on this, like, cry. It's the same thing with Hunter. It's the same, like, cry, basically. And you can see it, like, every 3 seconds. And the same here, like, this class just spams the ults way too much. I think they could tune that down a bit. Interesting, it can't Heartseeker through the wall. I'm looking at the different Sorc kind of build, and Alpha's the only one picking the vulnerable Paragon and Glyph. And you wonder why. Well, the ways of Northree are mysterious, but very efficient usually. I mean, the Glyph is fine. The Glyph is just the same as any other Glyph. Paragon boards, I don't know what it looks like right now, but there might be a reason. I almost got my Glyphs at 90 already. Like another hour or so, my Glyphs are gonna be all 90. And then you just grind out 8% runs. With 8% runs, it's 2.5 runs per Glyph level up. So times 5 is 12.5 runs to get all Glyphs plus 1. Like typical run is like, let's say 2 minutes of loading screen. Or maybe a bit higher tier is like 2.5 minutes. So it's like half an hour to get 1 level up on all glyphs. when you do 8% runs. That's okay. It's like 5 hours to get 10 level ups on all glyphs. Go from 90 to 100. Need to show something on expansion if it's in January. I think January is very optimistic. Like, they have not announced anything. And I expect you're gonna get a Gamescom announcement. But, you know, even then. I mean, first of all, this season is gonna end of September, and the next season after that is looks like it's gonna end of December. So season 10. So season 11 will start... season 11 will run like January to March. And then I could maybe see expansion or something, but I don't know. I could imagine it's gonna be season 12. Actually, after season 12, I guess, potentially. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. I'm sure they will have a date for us at some point. Yeah, they said one expansion per year, but they already said that the next one is 2026, and they're not gonna keep it. They're not keeping that like 1 year expansion schedule. I guess it's gonna be more like WoW, where, you know, WoW like 20 years ago they also said they're gonna do a expansion every year, and they have never even kept close to that. So I think the minimum is like 1.5. It's usually more on the 2-year side, and I expect the same thing to happen in D4. So 1.5 years maybe per expansion. Does not look so hype, only Heartseeker and powers. Well, I would say wait for the season 10 preview. Hi Gris. Or you can do pit 100 and each cliff go up by 2 points. No. It would be +1. If I clear 100 now, it would be +1 on every cliff. Because it's just a 100% chance. You only get 2 upgrades when you are 20 tiers above. You have to do quite a bit higher. But the thing is, I set half an hour of 8% runs to get 1 level on all glyphs, right? So when my glyphs are close to 100, I will have a 70% chance to upgrade, not a 100% chance. If I do 100 or something like similar tier, right? So let's say my glyphs are 99 and a clear 99, I have 70% chance. So I'll get like 3 upgrades from a 99 clear. And that 99 clear, let's say I don't fail it, but I can do it in 15 minutes flat. It'll be 15 minutes for 3 glyph ups. With a relatively decent chance of failing, if I can even do it easily. Where I just grind half an hour and actually get tons of XP and loot and everything. And I get guaranteed basically +1 on a glyph. So it's almost the same leveling speed of my glyphs. Just grinding out the 8% runs versus like try hard pushing a 15-minute run with 70% upgrade chance. So you're way better off just grinding out the glyphs instead of pushing, unless you can very easily go to 100 or beyond, right? Like if I can just go into 100 and waltz through in like 8 minutes, yeah, sure, I'm gonna do that, right? If I go on my pulverized Druid, I just leveled my glyphs. You know, no fishing, no nothing. I just walked in, I cleared the thing in like 8 minutes, and we're chilling. But if you can't do that, yeah, I just grind out the glyphs. And it's actually a pretty comparable pace. It's not that much slower. Wait till you get on Hydro Sorc. Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna have enough cooldown for the 1 cast teleport. I mean, I have an orange cooldown Shaco, but it's not a GA cooldown on the Shaco, so I'm not sure if it's possible without that. But I have a lot of boss mounts, so I'm not gonna get another Shaco. Maybe hard to hide my secret builds of that in-game leaderboards. Unfortunate. I mean, to be fair, you can make very good builds and hide them anyway, as long as you don't put them on leaderboards. Right? Like, leaderboards will be probably some sort of pushing. And that is like very different from the rest of the game anyway, and builds look very different in pushing than they do in the rest of the game, right? You don't use Shaco for Hydra. I mean, for pushing, you go Halo Burglass, yeah, but I'm not planning to do that at all. I'm just gonna play Shaco and chill. Yeah, but if you're speed farming without Shaco, you can't do, like, there's no chance you're gonna do, like, you know, one cast teleport. You need to get to the point where you do, like, one ball lightning and you teleport. It's like ball lightning, teleport, Hydra, teleport, ball lightning, teleport, and so on. So, kinda like that. And this is not possible without a Shaco. How often does DLC go on sale? Good question. It was on 50% sale just very recently, so I guess not for a while. You have a yellow CDR, Shaco, Armor GA. The GA cooldown offhand, they can do one attack. Okay, so I go with the offhand. I'm not really looking forward to 2 times orange Hydra heads, the weapons though. That'll be yikes. But I guess you do what you gotta do. One skill teleport, another skill teleport with a Warglass? I don't believe you. Really? Without a Shaco? You do one cast teleport? To make a good leaderboard, season journey. I mean, it would be generally cool if they like add a bit more like late game goals on a season journey, you know, similar to like the 36 out of 40 or the 40 out of 40 and like the end game grinds and stuff from PoE. Like we need more stuff like that, I think, as like a long-term like grind target for achievements and whatever. Actually, Burglass also has some cooldown on it, actually, right? So, okay, maybe it's alright. You have constant 200 ms ping. 200 ms ping on this build is yikes. Try exchange mark exit lag. Hello, Steam Tears. Yeah, last tips and tricks how to complete the 5 events in less than 30 minutes. Alright, that's a very easy one. You just go around in Helltide somewhere a little bit and complete some events and that's it. And I mean Astaroth. Yeah, for some reason the Astaroth runs was counted for me even though it took longer than 10 minutes. But I mean, just do an escalation sigil, don't go into any strong room, kill Astaroth in like a not terrible time, and that's it. As long as you skip the strong rooms, it's very easy to do 10 minutes. that run. It's hard for you to do Astaroth. Well, then gear up more and come back later. Yeah, we have actually the events on the Maxroll world map, so you can check the locations and stuff. But I mean, if you just like run around in a Helltide in, you know, circles or something, you're gonna find events. Don't even have to go in Helltide necessarily. Maybe you shouldn't go to Helltide because in Helltide there's gonna be other people doing the events. Where if you just go around in like random places in the world, there's like no one there stealing your events. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Astaroth thing was bugged as well. Because I also just got gutted randomly. Maybe it counts the 10 minutes every time you enter a new dungeon in the escalation sequence. Oh, that fries your PC. Yeah, it's because there's many other people there, I guess. Try turning off crossplay. Oh no. Hand sanitizer. Oh no. Guys, I can't tell you. But I'm feeling good.
What's left, you ask? Hello? Hello? Well, hello, shining beauty. I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need?
Yeah, the 200 monsters in the Hellside is either you do summon a Blood Maiden, Or you do like one of those blood spires while the thing is going. It's relatively easy. I think the Hellborn summon is 30 seconds. So I have to get 200 kills in 30 seconds. So 6.66 kills per second. Yes, James. The bug where the Hellspire didn't despawn, damn. So you catch just spitting out monsters? I remember there was like some exploit as well back in some seasons ago. I wonder if it's the same thing. And you can make that like happen on purpose. But remember there was like some stuff that people were farming there. They're buffing Stinger on Tuesday, guys. Who's gonna log in? Stinger? Anyone? Only tier 77 in 2 minutes. Okay then, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Now we got a Plains power upgrade. Holy. Actually need that if I wanna go push with my rake. World boss in 15. Legion, by the way. Getting buffed on Tuesday as well. I guess they're gonna try out to see. I'll think it was Mother's Blessing. I mean, Mother's Blessing seems to make a return pretty much every season at some point. But I mean, this is only like 2 weeks in that patch. So this is not particularly late. I'd be surprised to see Mother's Blessing that early. Flurry buff. Dude, I think next time I start a rogue or something, I'm just gonna do Flurry. I'm not sure if I want to have Flurry now this season, but I'm gonna keep it as like a thing for next season. Like season start Flurry, holy. You're gonna be flying. There's no amount of guns also will make me run a Legion event. Are you sure? Everyone has a price. I remember when Legion event in Helltide was like a fucking pork and everyone went there when it popped up. Why did they ever nerf Legions in the first place? Like it never felt like they were like OP or something. But then it just made them completely worthless when the expansion came out. Kinda weird. Apparently it's also this like super fun Legion event in a hunt tour, and I've literally never seen it. I don't even know what it looks like. Because I just never had a reason to do fucking Legion again. Like Overwatch, I protect a vehicle. Flurry is fun, just jump in the pack and hit all around here. Yeah, Flurry is kinda nice. And it goes fast. I'd like to play something like the old Shadow Imbue Flurry F again, man. Holy. That was some cool shit. Let me do that. One season of Legion powers coming right up. We heard you. That's deine Scheiße. New changes as soon as season 10? Yeah, last time I checked, a new season usually means changes. Hi, Darkseid, by the way. No way. Maxroll meeting soon, yeah. We're having an early meeting already in my chat, I guess. Soon Chronix and Ava are gonna pop up. I can smell it. Yeah, short stream now, guys. I started later than I wanted to, but that's kind of like, fuck it. I'm gonna stream anyway. Need to get Paragons. Paragons don't grind itself. Or do they? Yo, Soul 1. That is not how I do it. But good luck. Halfway Paragon is 283 actually. When I hit max Paragon, I will need to make a Horadic power build for the memes. Good, because I'm not gonna hit max Paragon. So I'm safe from that, I guess. Saw a guy pay another dude to, like 300 to 500 billion to grind into Paragon 300. That seems like a extremely cheap deal, actually. 500 billion? That's like nothing on softcore. You find a few good items and that's it. And you save like 80 hours of grinding. But I guess if that other guy also wanted to grind to 300 anyway, it's like free money, right? And per 10 levels after 250 Paragon, what? Oh. Wait, 500 billion per 10 levels. The 250 to 260 is very fast. Can I ask the devs so they can add Glyph XP tokens that we can buy at the shop? I can ask them, but I won't. I'm really a true evade enjoyer if you haven't even grinded to 300 hand sanitizer. Don't worry, the browser forgets like every day what your age is. Like every time I pull up these like patch notes on the Blizzard, they ask me for my age. I'm not sure why it never saves it. You and Rob love this evade build. Well, I guess you both like fast, efficient farming. And evade build provides that for sure. On the other hand, I mean, I don't really want to play it that much. But I'll play it for a bit. Get some levels, since I made this build now. It's relatively chill farming. I build for a starter in the game playing solo. Pulverized Druid. Minion Necro. Evade Spiritborn. That's my favorite class build at the moment. I think Pen Shots. It's a Barb buff looking good. It's a small step of many into the right direction. But it doesn't really make any difference for anything right now. But for the people that really don't want to play Lunging Strike right now, it helps a bit. You can say Heartseeker is my favorite dark side in chat. Heartseeker was also really fun, to be honest. Can really recommend Heartseeker. Recommend Spiritborn and all. The build crafting is by far the most complex. Yeah, that's true, but this is why we have builds on Maxroll. So, take one of those. And Evade is like a very simple, just kind of like works from the start to finish kind of build. Pretty face roll. So that's why I suggested it. A lot of people.
Greetings. Hello.
Greetings.
Well, I can't tell you more, Azza.
Hello.
Let's see if the heals work now or not. Doesn't. Or? Nope. Oh, interesting. Spending resources with the Quacks rune heals me. With Judgement. That's kind of hilarious. So I can actually sustain my health, my potions and stuff, because the boss goes down fast enough. You also get potions here. But Vital Strikes is just not healing me. But Cruxrune heals me. That's funny. Get that potion.
Thanks. Don't go any further.
How many Radiance tributes do I have, man? At some point I need to run a road out of these. I have a lot of them at this point. That's fine, we have to wait crystal. They are bosses.
Hello.
Yeah, boss is better than Material Reserve Dungeon. Yeah, by a lot. I start establishing all these Material Reserve things. I mean, they're buffing them on Tuesday, so maybe they're gonna be okay. I have 10 millions. That's 40 runs of getting passive amulets of Ancestral. Pretty good. $79. The comments under my recent tweet gave me brain damage. Uh-oh. What happened there? I didn't check. Best range rogue build this season. Pen shot. But if you don't like that, you can also do a Heartseeker. It's nice. I think Blizzard told me to tweet that for marketing. Okay. Well, Blizzard allowed us to say this, but it didn't tell us to do anything. I'm not sure if I actually made a flurry build. But we have a very good one on Maxroll. Check that one. And that does use the new unique, yes. And it's getting buffed on Tuesday. Yeah, skill with an aspect and the unique as well. Flurry is gonna be pumping. Does this build require uniques? Yes. Well, not really. Like, Evade is actually a very funny build where you can start it at level 15 and never switch. And just gets better and better. But you also change your setup like 7 times along the way, depending on what you got. Holy shit, okay. A lot of comments actually. Okay. Funny. But 90% of those don't even play the game. That sounds accurate. I mean, there were also positive comments or excited comments. It was pretty mixed, I'd say. And it didn't exceed all of them now, there's more, but... I usually like to play solo donkey. Also, I need to stop in 19 minutes. So there's a problem there. I got Maxroll meeting, and then I'll use the evening to work on some YouTube and some other stuff, and hopefully sleep a bit earlier than normal. I also want to do a few tweaks on my guides, actually. 19 minutes, that's gonna be the meeting of all meetings. We will discuss the endgame tier lists. And more. Yeah, short stream today. Will Rax be there? Rax hasn't done anything on Maxroll for years at this point. He's not in the D4 team. Did the tweaks on the evade build? A little bit, but not much. Yeah, Rogue is really fun this season. Many good builds. Hi, Kogu. On a 4GA Doombringer. There's no build that wants a Doombringer, but it's a very comfy item for their bosses. So if you have too much damage, then just equip that thing. And you can just tank everything. Pick the worst season? What do you mean? Rogue is like fucking fun right now. class can't be fun if it isn't pushing 150, you noob. Okay.
I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need?
Druid doesn't have any Azure builds. There's no skill that has been that much lucky hit on the class. Maybe there's something like Landslide could do some lucky hit shenanigans. I tried that with Andariel's back in Season 5, but it was kind of weak compared to like Rogue Andariel, for example. But it might have been also an issue of not enough like poison synergies and stuff. But yeah, realistically no. Druid has pretty powerful builds and doesn't need something like Azurath. You're bored only killing demons and penitents, you want to kill some angels now? Man, do I have good news for you. Have you heard of Air of Perdition? I'm pretty sure your wish will be granted. Druid's good, could use a rework. It's so reliant on Venom for every build. Yeah, I guess Druid just doesn't have any dot builds at all, right? There's like no dot build on Druid. And I guess it's partly because of the boons, partly because of Envenom. But also, I mean, Rabies is just shit. And that's the only thing that is dot on that whole tree anyway. Is that a hint? Anything could be a hint now, Patronus. You'll never know. We had Winch here. Ah, true. I'm open. Is it good to have 5,600 willpower and Pulverize? That's a lot of fucking willpower. How the hell do you have that much? Can't believe Oogie is not playing D4. That's a bit sad. But Oogie will be back. I am positive of that. When there are reasons for someone like we to come back, he will be back. What's the best variation of builds on Maxroll page? There's a few different ones with different items. Well, I mean, usually there's different variations for different purposes, right? There's like the standard stuff, and then there's like, for example, pit push or bossing or speed farming, depending on what you're trying to do. The standard version is like the mythic, which is just like, you know, the final progression point. We have usually starter, ancestral, mythic. There's like the trinity of progression. And then, you know, bossing, speed farm, pit push, these are just variations of the mythic, basically, for like late game stuff. So that's how we have the Maxroll build guides laid out. A trophy on my mount is a favorite. I usually don't put any trophy on the mount. I think this is pretty close to the pit push variant I'm running right now, actually, on this evade. I was gonna adopt your good gear and shit gear tiers. I liked it though. Any advice for endgame from Spiritborn? Read the guides carefully, because Spiritborn is complex. That's what you do, Bringer Chef. Okay, it's my last one, guys. I have to go after this. I got Maxroll meeting. We're gonna be updating tier list and stuff. And I'm gonna sleep early tonight, so I'm gonna be here early tomorrow. I think about the bus for Barb and Rogue. They were all in the right places, I would say. It's like a little something for those people that don't play the meta stuff. Any hardcore planners? No. But my builds are generally pretty hardcore friendly. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a short pleasure today. 2.5 hour stream, F. What rogue was the closest to the 2 multi-shot boas one? I don't have anything close to that. I guess maybe a barrage. How much did I get paid for the shield tweet today? Lol. Actually, nothing. But some people asked, and then Blizzard said, okay, we allow you to say something. So, that's just why I made that tweet. Anyway, out of photo shit. Let's raid someone. I mean, there's basically not really many people here. I'm gonna raid Fame. How about that? Have a good one.